All right, so welcome to this another powerful segment in Kotak Stock Shala. So in last couple of modules, you learned about multiple things. We went through the net worth building exercise, we went through the asset allocation, and then we also learned how to analyze the business. And in my own mechanical engineering terms, I explained to you the machine formula. So you learned about M for megatrend, A for action, how there is a demand, how competitive advantage is very powerful. That is what we learned in C. H stands for high, ROCE, and I stands for improvement, N for new, and E for execution of earnings growth trigger. Now this is specific to core portfolio companies. Now these are the companies which we want to hold it for long term, and we have a very long term time horizon for that. And in this section, we are going to learn about how to think about screening process. Now, let's understand how to put this into practice. Because many times when you think about just the formula, like just the machine formula, you might not be very sure in terms of now how to find out companies around it, how to actually screen companies that can meet these criteria. So now what we'll learn is a practical way to implement this, and step by step we learn what all parameters are so useful. And again, these are parameters which I use in my own personal investing journey and even for our clients. But you can always tweak this, you can always modify it based on your personal suitability, and you can take it forward from here. But this will give you an idea how I've translated machine formula into tangible, objective way of screening from various data sources. So let's go to this Excel which is there in front of your screen, and I have created a checklist. So what you should do is, in your own investing journey, you should have a checklist of criteria which you want to use for your screening. Only then you will be able to screen it effectively. So I will be walking you through 15 different criteria which I use in my own core portfolio screening journey. And this is slightly different from what I practice in satellite, which is more positional and short term. So in long term, first we want to see whether the company is able to grow for a very long period of time. So sales growth, and that suggests long-term mega trend. So I want a company which has demonstrated a very good history of sales growth for last 5 to 10 years minimum. And that is what will help me to understand that, hey, this company is somebody who has actually demonstrated a very good growth over a period of time. The second parameter, if you look at on my screen, is operating margin profile. Now, any company which is having a good competitive advantage will have very high pricing power from its customers and suppliers. That means it is able to earn higher operating margins compared to its competitors. So that is what competitive advantage and improvement gets covered in the second parameter. The third parameter is pretty much on the similar lines for competitive advantage, as you can look at net profit margin. Now, very important point which a lot of investors actually ignore is earnings growth. So earnings growth is actually signifying mega trend, improvements, and what is happening new inside this company, followed by ROCE and ROE, which is return on capital employed and return on equities. Again, we don't have much of bandwidth to go deeper into ratio analysis, but these are two very powerful ratios which indicates the profitability and returns of a company. So that signifies high quality. If this ratio is more than 15%, it means that company is able to earn significantly higher returns than what it can earn in FD or risk-free adjusted returns. So next is pledging, which is again suggesting action. What is the promoter doing, whether it is pledging the shares or not. Leverage of the company, that again shows skin in the game. Then you have interest coverage ratio, cash flow, reinvestment of cash flow, and so on and so forth. Now let's put this into practice. All of you have got this checklist, but how we can put this checklist into practice? So I'll give you a simple screen which will give you an idea of how I do it. You can always modify these numbers. You can use tools like Screener, Tijori. There are a lot of tools which are available, which you can use to identify such companies. So first we want to see whether this company over a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 years have grown its sales at a reasonable rate. Like 8 to 10% minimum, it should be growing to give us a confidence that this company is really good. Then you need to look at profit growth. Now, if I want to compound my money at, let's say, 15-20%, one of the very key important parameter is profits growth. If my sales is growing, but somehow if my profit is not growing, it's unlikely that my company will grow over a long period of time. Then I want to look at the operating margins. Remember, I talked about competitive advantages. So these operating margins actually suggest that company is doing really special and it is slightly different than what all other competitions are there. So it is something better which this company is doing, either in terms of brand or in terms of economies of scale or in terms of network effects, all the parameters which we learned in the last section of our analysis on businesses. Next, coming to return on equity and return on capital employed. This is very powerful because if the company is just growing but not making good returns, then it is not good for shareholders in the long run. So short term it is fine, but if long term a company is not able to make good return ratios, then it might not be a very fruitful company to invest in. And hence we have put in parameter of 3 years, 5 years, 7 years and 10 years. We have also put debt to equity ratio, interest coverage ratio, average EBIT, and how the operating cash flow is there, and whether there is any pledge on that company or not, and how much it is up from 52-week low and how much it is down from 52-week high. Now this again suggests demand. So if the stock is very strong and it is not falling much, it suggests a very strong demand in that company. So this is how you can actually build a powerful screen to get initial set of stock ideas. Now once I get a list of stock ideas, the next thing what I do is I go deeper into those companies that I want to visualize how that company has performed over a period of time, and I also want to screen further how they are doing in the quarterly performance. So I'll see you in the next video where we'll go deeper into this Excel. You'll understand how to visualize these screening parameters, and you can use this template to analyze any stock which you want, and you can pretty much get an insight of whether to invest in that company or not. Let me know in the comment section how did you feel about this video and what were your key takeaways, and thank you for watching this. Thank you.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.